Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look at a really interesting project called AI Book Buddy for Kids.
Yeah, it's all about how these new AI tools can build some pretty engaging and, well, educational experiences.
Especially around reading, right? Such a fundamental skill. And, for anyone listening who's keen on efficient learning, this is about making book exploration effective, but also, fun for kids.
And what's quite fascinating is where it came from. It wasn't just an abstract idea. It actually grew out of some serious hands-on work with generative AI.
Oh, right, the Google Gen AI intensive course.
And it really took shape as a project in Kaggle's 5-day Gen AI course. So it's a great example of, quickly applying this cutting-edge tech to a real problem.
Totally. And the problem is one I think a lot of people, especially parents, might recognize. You've got Project Gutenberg.
Amazing resource, huge library of free books.
Exactly. But it's vast. So for a kid or even a parent trying to help, it's like, where do you even begin? It can be pretty overwhelming.
Uh-huh. And beyond just choosing, how do you keep them hooked? Keep them engaged with the story.
Yeah, that's a key question. Access to information isn't enough if it's hard to navigate or, hold a child's attention.
Which I suppose is where AI Book Buddy comes in.
Precisely. Think of it as this friendly AI guide. Its whole job is to help kids navigate Project Gutenberg and make reading feel more like an adventure.
And it's built on Google's latest Gen AI, you said.
That's right, powered by some pretty sophisticated stuff under the hood.
Okay, so let's break that down. What does this friendly AI assistant actually do? What are the, core features?
Right, let's get into it. First up, book recommendations. Kids have things they love, right? Adventures, funny stories, animals.
Sure.
So AI Book Buddy can suggest books from Gutenberg that actually match those interests. It's not just random, it's tailored, like a little librarian who knows the kid.
So it's trying to understand intent, not just keywords. That's interesting. It goes deeper than just searching animal stories.
Exactly. And then feature 2, Gutenberg links. Once a kid sees a book they like,
They need to be able to get to it easily.
yep, the AI just provides a direct link straight to the book on Project Gutenberg. Click, and you're there. Super simple access.
That friction removal is important, keeps the momentum going.
Okay, now here's a clever bit. Feature 3. Background book download. When a book is selected, the AI actually downloads it in the background.
Why does it do that? Just to have a copy?
Well, yes, but more importantly, it lets the AI really digest the text, understand the story deeply, not just the title or summary.
Ah, okay, so it's getting the full context. That makes sense for the next features, I bet.
You got it. That powers feature number 4. RGRAG-powered reading. Now, RA sounds technical.
Retrieval augmented generation.
Right, but the key thing is the AI isn't just pattern matching words. It actually reads and understands the content.
Which impulse?
Feature 5,
Yeah.
interactive quizzes and challenges. So after reading, the AI can ask fun questions or set little challenges based on the story.
Ah, turning it into a game almost.
Exactly. It boosts comprehension, checks understanding, but in a way that feels engaging, not like a test.
That combination gamification and comprehension check sounds really effective for keeping kids interested in learning.
We think so. So that's the overview of what it does. Should we peek under the hood a bit? Look at the Gen AI making it work.
Yeah, let's do that. How do these different pieces fit together? I think people would find that interesting.
Okay. First step is what we call grounding. Basically, connecting the AI to real available books.
Making sure it's based in reality.
Right. So for those recommendations, the code actually uses Google Search. It looks for popular, well-regarded children's books specifically available on Project Gutenberg.
So there's a quality filter built in based on popularity and accessibility.
Pretty much. And then, like we said, it grabs the Gutenberg URL and downloads the book. But the raw text from Gutenberg can be messy.
Yeah, lots of headers, footers, legal stuff.
Exactly. So there's a step called cleaning Gutenberg text. It strips out all that extra stuff to get to the core story.
Focusing on the actual narrative.
Yep. And then that clean text gets split into chunks. Smaller pieces are just easier for the AI to handle, to process effectively.
Makes sense. Breaking down a big task into smaller ones. Standard practice, but important here.
Okay, next stage. Embeddings and the vector store. This is where the AI starts to understand meaning.
This is where Google's Gemini comes in.
Right. We use Gemini to create embeddings. Think of them as like numerical codes, secret codes that represent the meaning of words and sentences.
So it's not just the words themselves, but the concepts behind them, like happy and joyful would have similar codes.
Precisely. It captures those semantic relationships. The AI learns the context, the hidden meanings.
And where do all these meaning codes live?
In a special kind of database called a vector database. We use ChromaDB for this project. It's designed specifically to store these embeddings and find relevant ones really, really quickly.
Like a super fast library indexed by meaning, not just words.
That's a great analogy.
Uh,
And it processes them in batches, so it's efficient. This lets the AI quickly pull up the right parts of the book when needed.
okay, so you have the cleaned text chunks and you have these meaning codes stored efficiently. How does that lead to the interactive part?
That brings us to RGRAG Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is the engine behind the quizzes and answering questions.
Right, the retrieve and generate parts.
Exactly. So when a user asks something, or when it's time for a quiz, the RGRAY system first retrieves the relevant sections from the book.
Using those embeddings, those meaning codes, to find the conceptually relevant parts.
Yes, not just keyword matching. It finds the passages that actually contain the answer or the information needed based on meaning.
That's much smarter. Leads to better answers, I'd imagine.
Definitely. And then once it has retrieved those relevant bits of text, the G part kicks in.
Yeah.
It generates the answer or the quiz question.
And crucially, it's generating based only on the retrieved text from that specific book.
That's the key. It's grounded in the book the child is actually reading. It's not pulling random facts from the internet. The answers come directly from the source material.
Which really reinforces learning from that specific text.
Absolutely. And the code itself actually includes some example queries and a basic write setup so you can see it in action.
Okay, makes sense. Retrieval finds the right info. Generation creates the output based only on that info. What about checking if it works?
Good question. That's the final piece. Gen AI evaluation. You need to test it right.
Of course. How do you do that?
We use what called RAG test cases. Think of them as pre-made sample quizzes or questions with known answers based on the book.
Oh, so you run these tests and see if the AI gives the correct, helpful response.
Exactly. It's about evaluating accuracy and helpfulness. This whole evaluation step is crucial to make sure AI Book Buddy isn't just fun, but actually, reliable as an educational tool.
Builds trust. You need to know that AI is giving good information, especially for kids.
For sure. So, yeah, that's AI Book Buddy for kids in a nutshell. From the initial idea sparked by those Google and Kaggle courses.
To a practical tool using Gemini and RAG.
It really shows what's possible. And I think the exciting part for anyone listening is this idea that AI can be like a collaborator, a superpowered assistant to help bring your ideas to life.
It democratizes building things in a way. And looking at the bigger picture, tools like this could really help spark an interest in, say, classic literature for kids who might otherwise find it daunting.
Totally. Making it more accessible, more interactive, and the future potential.
Wow.
You could have personalized learning paths based on reading speed or interests.
More types of activities, maybe even voice interaction down the line.
Who knows? There's so much potential for innovation. It really makes you think about how AI can keep improving educational experiences.
It's definitely an area to watch, and it raises questions for all of us about how best to integrate these tools.
Well, thanks for diving into AI Book Buddy with us today. It's just one example, but a really cool one of generative AI being used for something positive in education.
And props again to Google and Kaggle for the courses that help inspire it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you are interested, if you want to see the nuts and bolts, the code is actually available in a Kaggle notebook. We'll make sure there's a link somewhere accessible. You can explore it, maybe even build on it.
It's a great way to see a real application, from grounding the data all the way to RE evaluation.
So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with is, looking beyond Book Buddy, how else could AI reshape learning in ways we haven't even considered yet? And what part might you play in that?